Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hello everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Gobind and this is your Channel for Grace. I'm so excited tonight to talk about this full moon in Cancer that we are having tomorrow. I hope you guys are doing good. I know Cancer full moons can be a bit emotional and really intense, and full moons in general can bring up a lot of stuff. So we're going to talk about the astrology and how it's going to be affecting us collectively, what it means for this is the last full moon of the year. This is basically like the last little climax point before we enter into 2021, which I can't even believe is actually happening already in just a few days. My mind's like there's so much going on in my life right now that I'm just going through the motions, gotta get to the other side. That's kind of what it feels like right now. But we'll talk about that, and I'm also going to tell you where this moon is landing in your chart and how it's affecting you based off of your moon, sun, moon, and rising. So let's see who's in the chat. We've got Melanie. How's it going? Good to see you. Traylene. Veronica, how are you? Abby, hello. Taria, welcome. Valerie and Joan and Wendy, thanks for being here and moderating. Ellie's here too. We got Ellison. We got Muriel. Yes, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Hello, Hannah, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified of when I go live and when I upload videos. Hello there, it's Ellen, right? Ruby, hello, and good vibes. Wish and sent to everyone. Yes, I love it. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Jess. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with me. So this is tomorrow is going to be the last live of the year. What? The last live of 2020 is a full moon ceremony? That's pretty cool. That's pretty epic. Hello, Mary Ann. Thanks for coming in. I sent you an email, Marianne. Make sure you check it. Marie, hello. Okay, you guys. Yes, thank you everybody for being here. So before we get started, before we start talking about the astrology, I did want to invite you guys to. There's a couple of cool things that I want to share with you. The first one is make sure to get on my email list. There is a link in the description of this video that gives you the link, or you can also go to my website, which is channelforgrace.guru. To enter the email list and also to book readings. I am offering the special giveaway, not the giveaway readings, but the starseed ancestry readings. My brain's going faster than my mouth. The moon, I think it's still in Gemini. But and then also the astral starseed DNA activations, which I am offering, which are actually really exciting. If you missed the Venus module, the Aquarian Astrology module 5, make sure you check that out. There's a link in the description as well. That was $33. That is $33 only, and it was an amazing, amazing thing. And let's see what else. Make sure you follow me on all social media, which is in 2 new social media platforms. One of them is Parler, and I'm at Jai Gobind, and the other one is MeWe. And it's at Jai Gobind. You can contact me. You can join our MeWe group, Channel for Grace Starseed Soul Tribe on MeWe. We have basically transferred everything over there. And also, but the best way to stay in contact with me is through my email list. So I'm excited for what is coming for 2021. I feel like there's so much going on. I feel like, hello, Sheila, there is... this moon may feel overwhelming to some, and to some it may feel like amazing. We just don't know how it's gonna go. But what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna share with you some really cool information about the moon, the astrology of the moon, the aspects that it's making, what's happening, what's the significance, and also I'm gonna tie it into like the history of 2020. Because if this full moon is the last full moon of 2020, it's interesting because normally we would have, instead of we would have a new moon in Capricorn. Hey Sparky, new moon in Capricorn, and then normally we would have a full moon in Cancer sometime in January. So for the new year. Jai is more interesting than George Orwell's 1984. You're hilarious. So, but now because we had 2 new moons in Cancer this year, it got all pushed forward, and the moon started coming, the full moons started coming before the new moons. So we're not going to have a Capricorn new moon until January, but usually we have it. January, but usually we have it sometime in December, right? During Capricorn season as the sun moves into Capricorn. So it's really interesting that everything's kind of backwards, and it's like interdimensional, and these new timelines opening up, and we just had that powerful Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. So we're in a whole new world. Like, we're already in a whole new world. There's no if, and, or but about it. Like, we're not going back. We have to look forward, and it's exciting at least to end the year with this powerful full moon, and the fact that it's in Cancer, which is the home and family and our loved ones, is really, really important. Hello, Chrissy, welcome in, and April, welcome in. So I'm going to just go through. The first thing that I want to share with you is that I just said it, but this is the last full moon of the year. But it's not just the last full moon, it's the last major moon cycle. So there's not going to be a new moon until 2021. Of course, we end this year with emotional. Yeah, of course. We just have to. Like, it's just, that's the only way, right? That's the only way. So here's why this moon is significant and why it's a little bit crazy that it's the last full moon of the year. I'm going to take you way back to January of 2020 when we had the powerful Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. It was just a couple of days after a lunar eclipse in Cancer. So lunar eclipse in Cancer happened on January 10th of 2020. And then a couple days later, Saturn and Pluto exactly conjuncted. So which means it was all happening at the same time, right? Because we got these orbs in astrology. So it's like it comes in, and then it gets stronger and stronger, and then you feel it, and then it, right? That's how astrology works. It's not like today it's happening and tomorrow it's not. It's more like, especially with the outer planets that travel so slow, you can be feeling that transit for a long time. And of course, it is a transit that only happens, I don't know how many freaking hundreds of years. So it's here to stay. And now the new conjunction that we just had with Saturn and Jupiter is the next 20 years, but also the next 500 years. I've been talking about this, so if you want more information, look at my past astrology videos. Check out the astrology video for December 21st, the winter solstice. That's a really good one because I went into like detail as to like the timeline. And then, but also the last new moon that we had, what was it? It was, oh my God, I already forgot. It was a new moon. Oh my God, I already forgot. It was the eclipse, right? It was the eclipse. There's so much going on in my brain. My brain. My poor little brain. Hang on. I have to check. I have to actually check where the moon is right now. It's at 25 of Gemini. So it hasn't come into that's why it's like Gemini energy at the last degrees. So, but yes, it was the eclipse. Yes, it was the eclipse, December 14th. It was a Sagittarius total solar eclipse. And then the week after, it was just 2 weeks ago. And the week after, we had the solstice, the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, and now we have another full moon. So that was like in the beginning of the year, okay? January 10th, we had a lunar eclipse in Cancer, okay? So that was the first like big Cancer energy. Remember that the nodes were North Node Cancer, South Node Capricorn. That started in 2019, and it came into 2020. And in May, I think around May 5th or something of this year, they switched into North Node Gemini, South Node Sagittarius. My brain's like smashed right now. I can tell because I'm having a hard time, like, what do I want to say? But the nodes those were eclipses aligned with the nodes, right? With North Node Cancer, which was like, find your heart. We started the year off with like, hey, find your heart. Where's home? Where's family? Because shit's about to go down. Down. Okay? So we started the year off with like, hey. Like, I'm giving you a little warning here. You better know what you believe in. You better know where your heart is. That's Cancer. You better know where you're at. You better know who's your family, who your peeps, right? Who's your star fam? Because shit's about to go down and we're going into the crazy rabbit hole. Okay? Okay. So, then in June, we had eclipses again. And we had a new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. So January, full moon, lunar eclipse in Cancer. June 21st, it wasn't just any old eclipse. Yeah, go ahead, Ellie. But it wasn't just any old eclipse. I'm actually having fun. It was on the summer solstice. I mean, we've had 2 major conjunctions happening during like the solstices or the equinoxes this year. It's like, it's not a coincidence, but it doesn't happen often. So June 21st, 2020, we had a new moon solar eclipse in Cancer. Then, okay, a month later, because do you remember that solar eclipse in Cancer was at 0 degrees? Do you remember that? 0? So many zeros. 0 Cancer, 0 Aquarius, 0 Capricorn. This last conjunction, so many zeros, like so many new beginnings. But that was at 0. And then because it was at 0, by the time the moon caught up with the sun again, it was still in Cancer. And so that was the new moon in Cancer, which was the second new moon in Cancer on July 20th of 2020, was actually at the later, it was like at 28 degrees of Cancer, like really intense Cancer energy. So that was the third, like basically major moon that was going on. And I remember talking about that, when it was happening. Yeah, right. I remember talking about that, like, oh my God, like, wow. Because from that moment on, we were supposed to have, I can't remember, I think it was a Leo. We were supposed to have a Leo moon, but instead we had a Cancer moon. Like, we skipped Leo altogether. And then I was like, it was actually really weird. But now everything comes backwards. Like the full moon comes before the new moon. Then we got full moon, then new moon. Usually we have new moon and then it becomes full, right? The new energy arrives and then it fills, right? But that's not how we've been seeing it. And then here we are at the last full moon of 2020. And it is, again, we're back with this Cancer energy. And this is significant because it's like we started with it. And we're ending with it, Like we're still going strong, The universe is still saying like home is where the heart is in all ways, shapes, and forms. The Cancer moon is like, it can be an emotional time for a lot of people because the moon rules the sign of Cancer. So for a lot of people, having a moon in Cancer is she's at home, so she feels strong, but she's like potent, It's like potent emotional energy, potent intuitive energy. The Cancer full moon or the Cancer moon in general is also the high priestess, the goddess, and it's also the mother. The mother. Okay. Mother energy, like nurturing energy. The moon rules the tides of the tides of the ocean. Like that's why we have, like, basically if the moon didn't exist, like we I don't think we would be here. And when you look at the significance of all of that, it's like, that's right. The moon is one of the most important things in astrology. The moon is one of the luminaries. The moon reflects the light of the sun. And when it does that, we get to see ourselves. And when she's in Cancer, she's like in her full glory. Like, I am the goddess. I am the water. I am the ocean. I am the high priestess, right? Like, yes, the sacred divine feminine has been putting in like these little seeds all year long with these Cancer moons, but not just any old Cancer new or full moons, like eclipses and then double new moons. I mean, it's pretty wild. It's wild. So that is why this is not any ordinary full moon. I mean, I feel like I've been saying that for every single new moon and full moon. This year, every single like lunation cycle has been like epic, bringing in tons of change, tons of everything, tons of challenges too, tons of obstacles, and asking us to change and transform and go within, and like, oh, it's really intense. It's a lot. But with Cancer ruling the home, intuition, our emotions, the high priestess, the goddess, being dignified in this sign, being the strongest in this sign, this moon, I feel, is literally calling us home. It keeps calling us home. But the challenge is, home is where the heart is. It's not calling us home to what we think home is. And you'll see it once I go over one of the Sabian symbols I remember now is like, whoa, it's like super intense. I can't wait to share that with you. But calling us home to like our true home, like our true home. Like, why do you think like this year was the year where I like dove into starseed markings and charts and like started doing starseed readings? It's all like a part of the divine plan. In fact, I'm actually going to put on my Ankh. I finally wrapped it. So now it can hang. It's huge too. That's how we roll. So, it's not a coincidence because I've been divinely guided, like calling us home. And I'm talking to starseeds here, but I'm talking to everybody, right? Calling us home. 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 Where's home, right? Is it here? Is it on Earth? Is it somewhere else? Is it another galaxy, another star system, another planet? How many lifetimes have you had on other planets? That's what I mean by calling us home, because calling us home and for us to remember where we come from and remember our starseed ancestry is all part of the plan, because we need to remember who we are. We need to remember our strength. We need to remember our power. We need to remember our essence. We need to remember where we come from to do our mission. So calling us home is like, it's more than just like, oh yeah, our family. Like I'm talking beyond your bloodline. This is beyond bloodline. This is calling humanity home to its like essence, which is an evolved humanity, an awakened humanity. That's what I mean by calling us home. And this little Cancer moon has just been like, here I am again, all year long. And we've been dealing with so much Capricorn, but at the same time, the Cancer, which is the duality of Capricorn, which is on the opposite end of the spectrum of Capricorn, is like, I am here, I am present, I am holding it down because I'm the shit. I'm just kidding. So, I did want to show you the chart of tomorrow to look at, more specifically, the kind of aspects that it is showing us. But I realize I haven't even pulled it up. So let me pull it up. 8 degrees of Cancer is where the moon is happening. 8 degrees and 53 minutes. Yeah, exactly, Marianne. 53 minutes. Okay, there it is. So, let's go and show you the chart. I dove into the starseed markings and fixed stars rabbit hole today. It's a rabbit hole for sure. So we're waiting on this 3693. Yay, 44 in the chat. Epic. Okay, so. All right, here we are. Now, this is the chart for the last full moon of the year. And the way that you know it's a full moon is because obviously you got the moon on one end at 8 degrees opposing the sun on the other end at the exact same degrees, right? It's an opposition. Full moons are oppositions. So what is the moon actually doing with this energy? The first thing is that like the moon is kind of by itself. It's kind of over here, by itself a little bit. There's a lot going on down here. So more stuff going on here. There's a lot of communication between the planets, but the moon kind of feels like, okay, I'm kind of on my own. I'm a little bit on my own. The moon is making an opposition to Mercury, who is actually, it's close to the sun. It's conjunct. It's a wide orb conjunction, but it is there. So the moon is actually opposing Mercury as well. And I will tell you in a moment that Mercury and the sun are in this area of the sky that is connected to a star called Vega in the Lyra constellation. And so there's a fixed star channeling going on here with the sun and with Mercury. Mercury being the ruler of the mind and your thoughts and the way you communicate. The moon opposing Mercury is like, I see you over there, and I want to hear you, but I also want to make sure that I take care of myself. I also want to make sure that I am nurturing myself. So if the information's coming in, great, but also I'm over here, I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm paying attention, but I'm also taking care of myself. I feel like that's a very powerful message of the moon. Uranus, which is the planet of change and revolution, and it rules Aquarius. It's new world energy, is actually making a trine and a sextile to the moon, to the full moon. And the reason this is beautiful aspect. Sextiles and trines are harmonious aspects. They bring in positive energy. They're not challenging as much as they are like a good feel energy. So it's an activation because Uranus rules the Kundalini energy. So whenever Uranus has any kind of aspect to the new or the full moons or the moon in general, it always like electrifies it. It always gives it this like charge. It's like a lightning bolt that strikes and activates something. And that's what Uranus is doing with this full moon. And it's significant because Uranus is actually getting ready to do these squares to Saturn and Jupiter, but especially Saturn in 2021. Uranus and Saturn will be squaring 3 times. And I believe that is like another 22-year cycle or something like that. And they're going to be squaring 3 times. Like, it's going to be wild because with Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus, it's almost like earthquake energy, like literally earthquakes, because Taurus symbolizes the earth. And Saturn is like, the Aquarius is that lightning bolt. I mean, it like shakes it up. So I feel like 2021 is it's gonna get crazy. That's why we gotta know where we stand right now. But for all of us, for the collective, 2021 is going to bring these wild, like unpredictable events that we'll have to kind of navigate through. But what holds us anchored is our heart, is where we're at, who we believe in, who is our family, who's our star family. That's going to be the most important thing for us in 2021. But these squares are beginning to form now. They're happening right now. It's a wide orb, but it's still there. It's not exact yet, but we're gonna start to feel it. Like I said, astrology kind of comes in like a wave and then kind of moves away like a wave. It feels like it intensifies before it gets, but this is a premonition of that. But that's why the important thing, the harmonious aspect, is right here, right? In the sextile and the trine, where we remember our heart, where we remember our intuition, where we remember like who is our family to us? Who do we connect with? Who do we identify with? Mars is direct, but he actually hasn't quite yet left shadow. He's not going to leave shadow until I think like 28 degrees. I don't know exactly, but I think in 28 is the degree, and it's not going to happen until I think January. That he's going to go finally out of shadow, but he is direct. So it's like there's another thing that's going on here is that almost all of the planets are direct, except the only one that's not direct is Uranus. Look, everything else in the circle is direct. And what that means when all the planets are direct, it's like all the energy is moving forward. There's nothing to slow it down. There's nothing to stop it. It's like a train. It's like a freight train that's just like moving forward and going and going and going. And it's like full speed ahead, the Titanic, right? It's like full speed ahead, And then remember what happened with the Titanic, right? Full speed ahead. Oops, we didn't look at what was coming, But there's also, that can be something. That can be an energy that we feel, but it's also like this is the time where you're going to see things happening and they're going to happen fast. Nothing is here to slow it down except Uranus, which I think is significant because Uranus rules Aquarius, and we have officially moved into the Aquarian age. So that's what I feel is going to happen. The other thing too, Jupiter is now at 2 degrees of Aquarius and Saturn is at 1 degree, which means that Jupiter has now passed Saturn. So Jupiter is like ahead of Saturn. So he kind of has a little more, and he's bigger. He's the biggest planet. So he's like moving forward. You guys are laughing. I don't even know what I said. I forgot what I said. I'm so ridiculous today. So he's past Saturn now. He's like, peace. I'm going ahead of you, man. For such a long time, he's been like, trailing behind and retrograding and Capricorn. Like Jupiter pretty much hated the Capricorn transit because he was in detriment. I think detriment or fall. Can't remember which one. But either way, he was like not happy in Capricorn. Oh. So Jupiter is like, I'm going. I'm so excited. I love Aquarius. Like, woo! Like, he's down for the ride. He's going, you know? And Saturn's like, all right, go ahead, but don't get too crazy. He's going to get crazy. So, that's a couple of things that are going on. All systems go. So, I talked about the square. I have my little notes over here. There is, let's look at Chiron. Here's Chiron. He's been in Aries. So anybody that has Chiron in Aries at the early degrees, you are going through your Chiron return. Return. And that means that there's like a completion of your healing journey of having an identity crisis. Your whole life you've had an identity crisis, and now you finally get it. You get who you are. Collectively, for everyone, that's if you have, Chiron in your chart in Aries. But collectively, for everyone, what's happening is that we are all having an identity crisis, right? Like the world is having a major identity crisis. Like, where do we stand? What are we doing? Some people are over there. Some people are over there. Nobody can make up their minds. Everybody's arguing. Everybody's fighting. Like, holy moly. Chiron is actually T-squaring this moon. That's actually a big deal. T-squares create challenges that ultimately help you, but that feel really uncomfortable. Chiron is the wounded healer, also known as the golden healer, which I love that better, because he is like, he's the enlightener in a sense of like, he shows us how to step into our mission, our like starseed mission, our healing mission, because he's like, this is what you need to heal. Look at this. He's like, pay attention to this. And what is Aries? Aries is the ego. Aries says, I'm the only one that's important kind of attitude. Aries can be impulsive. Aries can just like jump to conclusions or just impulsively make decisions without even thinking, which is a awesome gift to have, but you need to be able to actually think about what you're deciding right now. It's important for us to be aware of what's going on. We can't just impulsively like jump out and be like, all right, this is where I am, let's go. There is energy there because Mars is in Aries of like, okay, I do want to take action. I do want to do the things that I want to do in this life. And here it is, let's go. And that's good. And that's supporting that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but have you actually fully looked within and asked yourself, like, do I know who I am, why I'm here, what they want from me, right? Those are Chiron and Aries questions. That's what Chiron is asking us to do. And so with this T-square, I think he's like accentuating this dynamic of home. Like, are you home? Do you actually feel like you are home? Are the people and the relationships that you have around you, do they feel like home? Do they feel like soul family? Do they feel like you can be here and these people will support you in every way, shape, or form? Those are the kind of questions that this moon is asking us. We also have Chiron making a sextile to Jupiter and a trine to Juno, which are, if you think about soulmate relationships, if you think about any kind of like, I don't like to use the word twin flame, but like just soulmate connections. We always think of like Juno and Jupiter because they are the married couple. Juno's the asteroid of marriage, and Jupiter is like the female, right? Zeus and Juno. In mythology, they're like, okay, they finally get together and then they can hold it down, that essence of like full commitment to a relationship. Divine connections, that's a better word. I like that word better. So this trine from Chiron is and sextile to Jupiter and Juno. It's like, think about it. Shining a light on relationships in general. The other thing that's happening is, obviously, has been going on and it's going to be exact soon, but Neptune is still T-squaring the nodes. This has been going on for a while, which means that Neptune is also squaring Venus. And if you look here, Venus is actually conjunct the south node. So I think karmically, relationships are a big deal right now during this time, during these degrees that Venus has been conjuncting the south node. Any planets that are conjunct the south node bring up karmic situations, karmic lessons. It asks you to look at something and it reveals what it is that you need to work on so that you can release what doesn't work and you can move, towards the north node, which is the future. But Neptune squaring, I talked about it a little bit, it creates a fogginess. It creates an illusion. There is an illusion right now. You have to navigate through the illusion. Don't get caught up in it. Right? Like a fish getting caught in a net. There's a net. You can't get caught in the net right now. Very important. So how do you do that? Well, look at what the North Node is asking you to do. You got to question everything right now. You can't just accept anything. Literally, like, you go around and you're like, how is that even possible? Well, you're questioning that. It means it's not possible, right? It's like, if it's questionable, then is it really real? If you can logically, with common sense, which is very Gemini, figure things out on your own, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Not supposed to be taking what someone else tells you, a higher authority, even like, because Sagittarius can be like religion, right? Someone outside of you tells you, a teacher or a guru, someone outside of you tells you, like, this is how it is. This is what you got to believe in. This is it. This is the truth. But right now with Neptune there, I'm not sure if that's the truth actually. I think the truth is over here. I'm going to stay over here and I'm going to keep questioning what's going on in the world. I'm not going to give in to just anything. I'm not just going to believe what they tell me, because in my mind, that doesn't make sense. And I know common sense. That's what's happening with the nodes and with Venus conjuncting the south node. So, in a nutshell, that's pretty much the astrology of this moon. But I do want to share with you the Sabian symbols and the Chandra symbols, and also the fixed stars. And this is actually my favorite part of the show. I feel like symbols are so beautiful and so potent to show us more meaning. I feel like through symbols, we can really take in intuitively, we can understand our intuition, we can receive it in ways that we can't with our logical mind. So I love the Sabian symbols and I love the Chandra symbols for that reason. It's basically looking at the degrees. and the energies of the degree. So like a sign at 0 degrees is going to be like the baby of that sign, but a sign at 29 degrees is going to be like the full on grown mature energy of that sign. So wherever the degree is at, it's like a part of that evolution of the sign. So we're looking at 8 degrees of Cancer for the moon, and I also want to look at 8 degrees of Capricorn because the sun is over there. And then I'm gonna show you or talk about a little bit about the fixed stars that the planets are aligned with in the chart right now. So what is 8 degrees of Cancer? So here's the Sabian symbol for 8 degrees of Cancer. An exotic goldfish with a translucent tail swims around in a goldfish bowl. A little girl tries to catch it under the wide-eyed gaze of her friends. So when I read this, think about the astrology that I just talked about and everything that I just said and how it symbolically fits in. This is childlike desire for admiration. This is angling for people's attention by playing up one's unique qualities. This is playing into people's wishes and dreams, slippery characters, turning one's ability to project vivid images into a money-making proposition. This is acting, writing, fantasy, or sci-fi, following out some fantastic idea in one's imagination and figuring out how it might be realized. Cultural innovators. This is about catching a glimmer of some elusive truth and trying to get a handle on it. The subjectivity and fluidity of reality. This is silly speculations versus establishing the bounds of good sense. This is about fishing for the truth by asking probing questions. They may blur out any idea that pops up from their subconscious. This is about taking a tentative, innocent approach to sex versus trollish leering. And this is also about exercising the power of fascination. So there's like an activation of our imagination with this energy, but also a curiosity that is connected to it. Now 9 degrees of, and that's the energy of right now of this moon that we're going to have tomorrow. So 8 degrees of Capricorn. An Irish minstrel sings a fascinating song to the accompaniment of a Celtic harp. The song ended. He turns to the audience and shares a candid summary of the political situation. The minstrel/town crier archetype. This is about being intuitively attuned to the larger metaphysical situation, which allows one to confidently interpret the immediate situation. This is about striking a chord with the public by addressing the needs of the time. Feel no one's listening. This is about tuning people in to what they already know subconsciously but have not yet got a handle on. Dominate through persuasion. This is about rallying people to a cause. Resonant, spellbinding orators. This is about blazing a path towards a new national ideal. Step-by-step progress towards the power spot one wants to occupy versus being pushed aside by people with more social clout. Make near magical progress by being at the right place at the right time. This is about glimpsing an emerging vision and finding a way to get it across to the public. This is about the heavenly harp and, believe it or not, Vega and Lyra. So what is Vega and Lyra? Vega is actually a star that is found at 15 degrees of Capricorn. And in the chart that I was just showing you, I think if I go like this, you can kind of see it. It's kind of off to the side. But basically, when you look at Mercury and the sun, they are very close to these stars. And this is a starseed marking. The Lyra starseeds are actually ancient souls. They are like the most ancient souls. And the energy of this, the Lyran starseeds have actually had a unique part in the creation of humanity. They were the ones that gifted the element of fire to Earth and also seeded many souls, but to Atlantis along with the Orions. And what the Lyran energy does, what a Lyran starseed does, if you have a Lyran starseed marking, it's like the most important thing for you is sovereignty. It's like the sovereignty of yourself, of individuals, of the people. And that's why this is significant, because the sun, which is the soul, and Mercury, which is the mind, are channeling the Lyran starseed energy. So if you have Lyran starseed markings in your chart right now, these things are getting illuminated. The sun will continue to transit through, and it's like getting lit up. So this is a time for you to connect to those starseed markings. Right? It's a time for you to channel the visions of the starseeds, of the Lyran starseeds, which are the ones that are they're here to help people become sovereign. That's their most important thing, but they do it by helping people create new structures, create new ways of being in the world. And they are comfortable being here on Earth. They understand this dynamic, this third dimension, and they understand that in order to build a new world, certain structures need to be in place. And that's the energy that the sun and Mercury are channeling right now in general. So I want to read to you now. Let me see if I can check out some of the comments. I know people have been asking some questions. Yes, Angelica, to your question, yes. Yeah, totally. Actually, that's a cool thing about the starseed markings is that they show you whenever the moon or the sun go through your markings, they're illuminating, and that's timed for magic, especially when the moon is passing through. That's like the little portal that opens up that says, okay, we can do my little spells now. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, this is a time to manifest. This is a time to align with this energy. So let's hop on over to the Chandra symbols. The other fixed star, actually say that now. The other fixed star is the North Node. I've talked about this, I think, it's been there for a while. It's on the Orion constellation, the North Node. And Orion is really about understanding duality. Orion was a hunter, and his whole essence, the whole essence of that starseed marking is about like fighting for what you believe in, having a mission, not being okay with duality, being okay with competition, being okay with like moving forward and doing what you got to do. So there's a strength to the North Node right now aligned with Orion. Yes, I'm ready for the magic too. So the Chandra symbols, let's start with 8 degrees of Cancer. These are the fun ones. I mean, they're all fun, but these are really cool. This is the one that blew my freaking mind, you guys. 8 degrees of Cancer. Okay, are you ready? This is the one. A skeleton playing a flute. That's the symbol. A skeleton playing a flute. And this is what it means. Death is a haunting accompanist to the tender side of life. The spine-tingling touch of death, close at hand, renders poignant and accentuates what is vital in the world of the living. It takes courage to dance with death. Fear is natural under the circumstances. You have to play your fear and turn it into the music of courage. Wandering along the threshold between the living and the dead, belonging to neither world, yet integrally part of both. Intimately familiar with every side of existence. One who passes as a stranger, unknown and unknowable. Solitude is your element. The contemplation of the mysteries become as natural as breath, as ingrained as holding steady in the violent windstorm of life in the earth. Lyrical, melancholy, and disassociated from familiar comforting things. A mist or haze wraps you about, creating an aura of the uncanny, and it is there you feel at home and nowhere else. What? I'll read it again. A skeleton playing a flute. Death is a haunting accompanist to the tender side of life. The spine-tingling touch of death, close at hand, renders poignant and accentuates what is vital in the world of the living. It takes courage to dance with death. Fear is natural under the circumstances. You have to play your fear and turn it into the music of courage, wandering along the threshold between the living and the dead, belonging to neither world, yet integrally part of both. Intimately familiar with every side of existence, one who passes as a stranger, unknown and unknowable. Solitude is your element. The contemplation of the mysteries becomes as natural as breath, as ingrained as holding steady in the violent windstorm of life in the earth. Lyrical, melancholy, and disassociated from familiar comforting things. A mist or haze wraps you about, creating an aura of the uncanny, and it is there you feel at home and nowhere else. That is crazy. I mean, isn't that how we all feel? The book is called Inside Degrees. Isn't that how we all feel? Like, whoa, we're dancing with death. We're literally dancing with death right now. And we have to play our fear and turn it into the music of courage. What? Holy shit. This just blows my mind. A skeleton playing a flute. You have to play your fear and turn it into the music of courage. I mean, this is 2020 right there. All of 2020 is right there. It just blows my mind. Freaking wild. And let's do 8 degrees of Capricorn. Yeah. Okay. 8 degrees of Capricorn. Here's the last symbol we're going to cover. A woman washes a man's feet and dries them with her hair. A woman washes a man's feet and dries them with her hair. First of all, washing feet is like a sacred thing done in many religions and many cultures. With like your teacher or your guru, like you will wash your teacher's feet, because on your at the foot of the teacher, the feet is actually, the bottom of the feet is the subtle body. It is the connection to the Akashic records and to all of your past lives and all of the wisdom that you bring into this lifetime in terms of the 10 light bodies of consciousness through the Kundalini Yoga tradition. The 9th body is the subtle body, and it's found at the bottom of your feet. And that is why when you see people going up to the teacher and touching their feet, and you're like, what are they? They're touching that space. They want the wisdom. It's like, bless me with your wisdom. So they will wash the feet of their teacher. I'm just going to throw that out there. This is unfallen light becomes a force to be reckoned with, for it seeks to renew the world. I'm going to read that again. Unfallen light becomes a force to be reckoned with, for it seeks to renew the world. Small things add up here as ritual pervades. Greater worlds, beings called in to mediate, guide, heighten, restore, and heal. Greater worlds beings called in to mediate, guide, heighten, restore, and heal. Your intuitive faculties are resplendent with inner pictures. Your intuitive faculties are resplendent with inner pictures. Something great to be done in small steps taken up from within. A great journey from the origin of the world to full creative power of the living spirit enacted faithfully. A great journey from the origin of the world to full creative power of the living spirit enacted faithfully. Everything that we have seen, it's like every moon, everything. This year, so intense. So intense. And although we're not going to see this much activity next year, we're still going to have eclipses. We're still going to have those squares Saturn to Uranus, which will create a lot of unpredictable energy. We're still going to have this powerful, at the end of the year, Venus retrograde in Capricorn. I know, it's so good. We're still going to have major events, but it's now the beginning of the end. Like, it's the beginning of a new world. And that's how we end 2020. With this moon that I feel more than anything else, it's calling all of us home. But because I channel that starseed energy, I feel like it really applies to the starseeds, calling us home so that we can remember who we are, so that we can activate our mission and we can move forward into the new world, guiding, being leaders of the new world. That's what this is about. So, the book is called Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale. That's what I want to leave you with tonight. And I will be back tomorrow night, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the last ceremony of 2020. So don't miss it. You're not gonna want to miss it. Just kidding. I'll be back. Tomorrow's gonna be the last one. So let's gather together tomorrow in ceremony and ritual and in sacred space and hold that eternal flame alive, right? Of love, of passion, of the future. Let's do it. I love you guys too. Yo, don't leave without me. You're welcome. You're welcome, you guys. Yes. I'm excited about tomorrow. There's such big changes coming. We just got to breathe through it and stay steady. Stay steady. It's Sparky. Love and light. You're welcome. You're welcome, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this channel. Make sure you get on my email list. come join us on MeWe. We got a group going over there. It's really fun. I post on there almost daily. And also check out my little short videos on YouTube. I hope you guys are enjoying those. I've been putting those out daily just to give you a little daily dose of astrology and to help more people find the channel as well. So if you want to share those out, feel free to share those out. And make sure you always give the videos a like. That always helps. And make sure that you subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. It's going down.